Hello, committee and council. My name is Tajane Greer, and I am here to present you with my final presentation on the program Education Emergency. Let's take a look. Wouldn't you like to know what Education Emergency is? Well, I will surely tell you. As the foundation or the committee is currently aware, there is a building space that is available. And I personally feel that that available space should be used to help assist and support the homeless population. Many people don't realize, honestly, in their local areas, how many homeless people there are. And I don't think a lot of people sit back to examine or even ask questions of the homeless on how did they get here? What was the number one cause? What was the reason? I feel like if we were able to get involved more with our local communities, we'd have answers to these questions. But I propose that this available space helps the homeless population specifically. Um, I'm sure there are many obstacles that the homeless face on a daily basis or that they faced to get them to the point of homelessness. But most importantly, or from what I've noticed, is homelessness comes from a lack of education, whether it be initial or continued, and or career, work stability, job stability, experience. Many lost their jobs or they were never able to get a job. Some are and were very educated, um, very scholar like, and life just happens. We just never know, and you never know when or if it could happen to you. And that's where education emergency comes into play. It's a program that would serve the homeless population in our specific area. It would provide initial and continued education opportunities for the homeless. It would also assist with personal development, job trainings on the job trainings, specific and standard life skills, basic life skills as far as how to apply for a job, how to go to the library and check out a book or rent a textbook, how to build your resume, how to open up an account, how to budget and balance your money, how to go to job seminars or find job fairs, how do you interview, how do you get your life back on track after being homeless. That is the summary of Education Emergency. The Education Emergency team is truly committed to making the transition for the homeless to go from having nothing to being overnight successes. So, what's the scope or what's the intro? Education Emergency's schedule will take a span of 2 years, and that does include fully planning it, orchestrating it, and then also finally transitioning to the program opening up and those individuals that participate completing out that program. 2 year span. Very short time span, cramming a lot of things in there, but it is structured this way to get individuals back out there and on their feet sooner than later. Part of the scope or part of the plan is separated into three different phases. The first phase, which does include the basics, creating the program. We know it's education emergency, but also creating that mission statement, getting that awareness out there to the public that, hey, there's about to be a program specifically for this population. Please come sign up. Please just review, look at the information. Please just stop in, ask questions, get answers. This is where the administrative team will be found, those teachers will be found. We will be confirming classroom locations, interviewing those teachers. They must be qualified, certified, they must have degrees, they must be able to be willing to be paid on a volunteer salary, but more so having the heart to just help these individuals. This is also a phase where we will be collecting textbooks, resources, and all materials that will be needed during the education phase and the on the job training slash internship phase. This is where staff will be hired for the program overall, administrative, um, financial, teachers and volunteers, also companies, internships, and all those community supporters, stakeholders. This is where all of those individuals will be chosen. The span of this time looks fairly long, but it's a lot to process. We don't want to just choose teachers overnight. We don't want to just allow anybody in and take over the lives of these individuals that are already fragile. So this does take a good chunk of the program, but it's necessary. Phase two includes confirming those internship companies and those community supporters, um, figuring out who is going to provide the on the job training, where are they going to provide it, how will the internships and those sponsor program things work, how do those companies want to be compensated, are they doing this for monetary? Or are they doing this to truly help the community? So, again, another long phase, but it is necessary. We want quality over quantity. Um, to conclude that phase, that is also where the program will start. Um, those individuals will have their education courses, or those individuals will have their on the job training, and then they're going to overall complete the program, get certified, um, or pass some type of testing if they were there for a degree or a certification or a diploma. And to conclude, phase three, this is the final phase. After the program has been concluded, this is where the staff or the administrative staff will come back in and they will begin to prep jobs. They will help seek companies that are hiring, companies that are providing internships. They will also create job seminars where individuals can learn how to create, set up a resume. This is also where these individuals will be able to come in and talk one on one with the companies that are being sponsored. They will be taught how to interview, how to dress. This is the conclusion phase. Um, this is also where they will receive job references and job referrals and know what to do once they get that interview, and then how to move forward and be consistent and stable with that new job. And this is just a chart or the WBS of that project schedule that we just went over. So going over phase one specifically, this is finding the location, creating that name of the program, starting out with a strong mission statement and the purpose of the program so that all team members, all staff is directly on board. That will lead into finding teachers, interviewing, and teaching prep, whatever those teachers need. Once they get hired, we are there to supply their needs. We will also be getting those textbooks, any course resources, and study materials that those teachers need and those individuals need. So, a lot of teacher prep in phase one. We'll also be confirming those locations for study halls. When it comes down to the testing and certification phase, we want our individuals to have all the resources necessary. This will also include them becoming certified or taking those tests, and then we will lead into finding those corporations, businesses, or local supporters that will provide those internships for our certified individuals. And that leads us to phase two, as we spoke. This is just confirming those internship opportunities, which companies are involved, um, how do they want their compensation, how long are they going to allow our individuals to volunteer, intern, or fully work for them. We will also be confirming which of our staff members and those companies who will provide that on the job training for those that didn't need necessarily the whole or all of the education portion. They were just there for on the job training. This is where their time comes and they can shine. This may also be for those individuals that say, hey, I had a job, I had a career, I just need help getting my foot back in the door, or I just needed time and I'm ready to get back out there. This could also be for those refreshers, which would lead us into the final phase three, my favorite phase. This is where we'll find more teachers if current teachers and staff don't want to volunteer for the last portion, but they would be there to do the job prep. I think this would be everybody's favorite phase because it's time to get out there. It's time to get back in the workforce. Um, we'll be providing help and resources on how to find a job, searching. We'll be providing job seminars. We'll be providing hiring fairs. We will help with getting referrals and any references. We will also again provide those seminars that will give insight on how to interview, how to land an interview, what happens after the interview, and then what happens once you get into the position. We want all individuals to be prepared when it is time to go back out into workforce. Cost. Everybody's favorite subject, that monetary value. So, Education Emergencies Cost Management Plan. So the cost of the program, of course, would be free to those homeless individuals who have applied and have made some type of dedication or commitment to completing the program. There would be a need of financial assistance from the community and or the council, which would be 30,000, and that is a part of the overall estimated cost, which is 90,000. That 90,000 would be to go for training, paying our staff, paying our teachers, having and getting those educational resources for our individuals, paying those volunteers, compensating those companies that are providing us with those jobs and those internship opportunities. Of course, resources, textbooks, materials, computers, um, even simple things as notebooks. We just don't know what our individuals will have or won't have, and we want to provide them with all things that are necessary. This would also include advertising. This would also include certification and testing costs because nothing is free in this world. Financial assistance would also go to supporting those resources and materials needed to complete any type of coursework, any type of paperwork that is for those on the job training individuals. We want to have allocated money for just that portion. We want to have allocated money for just the education portion, and then money for the ending or phase three, as I've already stated, my favorite phase. This is just a breakdown or a budget chart. Total from the budgeted is estimated as 6,800. The original budgeted total was a 90. Contingency funds, we have 48,500. Grand total 168,900. Estimated need is about 100,000. But how much was actually needed was 168,300. But we did have a good amount of money left over, almost 80K left over. So I feel like the program budget wise looks pretty good. Original estimate was way off. However, we were able to take portions from our contingency plan and just be prepared for any and all issues that could arise. We just didn't want to over budget or under budget and then be um, over. And this is just the cost management plan continued, just a little breakdown or a chart. So phase one, breaking down that rent to stay there at that space, how much interviews, when we hire those teachers, what their pay would be on a monthly basis, how much we want to spend on resources monthly. Phase two, here we go with those interviews again, finding those internship companies, having a bunch of meetings, certifications or testing costs. We will pay for our individuals, they will not pay, so we set money aside for that. And then phase three, favorite phase, money towards those workshops, seminars, hiring fairs, referrals, any type of classes. We're setting money aside for that. So that's just a physical cost management plan so you guys can see where that money is going. Next, we're going to move on to communication. Communication plan. This just captures how communication will be managed for this program. This plan describes, of course, that planning period, that phase one, that phase two cost, and then that phase one and three, those role descriptions for each member of the team. This will also cover written and oral communication meetings that will be held on a weekly basis. Education Emergency will require all staff to meet on a weekly basis as many things change and they change on a daily. All information, announcements, and weekly recorded meetings will be uploaded to the project's website for viewers on a later date. Um, the management plan will also allow the meeting or the staff that will host the meeting to address any future needs of those involved in the project. And this is just a breakdown of the communication plan. It was separated into two categories for better addressing. So, communication styles, um, we are direct with an agenda. We will go over project statistics and roles, the descriptions of the members, just reminding everybody of their roles. What do they do? Are they following their own individual plans? And are they following the plan and the timeline of the project? We'll go over goals, make people aware, and general information, facts, answers, and questions at the end of that meeting. Each meeting will have an agenda provided. As each item on the agenda gets completed, it will be, or does not get completed, it will be added to the next meeting, and you guys will get to see what that agenda chart looks like on the next slide. Audience, of course, would include all staff, teachers, members, investors, and an administrative or management team. And this is just an outline of the agenda. So we would review roles and responsibilities for those a part of that current cycle or that current phase of the program. We would go over current stats and the progress of the program at that current moment, current week. We'll review current and future goals, general overview. We'll get any feedback, any remarks, or any additional questions, concerns, and then we'll finish it off with announcements and FYIs. And now we're moving on to those risk and contingency plans. So, of course, all programs experience some type of constraint. Education Emergency wouldn't be exempt. And the team feels that we would deal with time, accreditation, and cost as the top three program constraints. Specifically, when teaching individuals, the training portion must be accurate, it must be accredited, and it must be quality. We can't just put any teacher in positions of power. So that's major. Cost, time and cost always go together regarding a program success. How can you create an education program without being concerned of how much time do you need? Do you have enough time allocated? And what are those costs associated? But I personally feel from the management perspective that one of the most known risks for this program is the lack of commitment from those individuals. Some people say they want to change. Some people say they want to do better. Some people don't want to live the life that they're currently living. However, we have to know that these individuals are committed just like we are committed to changing their lives. That's a big risk because people change their mind all the time. This is just the risk and contingency plan continued, broke down into categories of risk responses, contingency, those prices again, costs and our time, how much is allocated, when is this going to happen. So, just for example, if the program, of course, does not get their curriculum approved, then participants can't get taught or even certified. If the program does not find the proper resources and teaching materials, then there is no accredited program. How are we going to get people jobs and put these degrees and certifications on their resume if our program is not accredited? It doesn't work that way. If the program receives negative business reviews, then the program could potentially end. You can't fix reviews, you can't hide, you can't lie. I mean, that would really hurt the business. One more, if the program does not handle any legal processes regarding education or personal rights, then the program would end. Legal is important with any business. We don't want any issues from our end or from the individual's end. And if we did not have that protection for us or those participants, that could cause the program to end. So this just goes over those risks, the responses. What are we going to do? How are we going to fix it? We got to make sure we got that curriculum and certification in a timely manner. We have to make sure that our program is accredited. We make sure that we hire all legal um, officers to cover those volunteers, to cover us, to cover all staff. We should also always provide feedback to our staff, provide incentives to our staff, and allow our staff to also provide us with feedback so that we can keep a positive experience for us, staff, individuals, and investors and stakeholders. And just giving a wild conclusion to Education Emergency, which is committed to providing resources to contribute to an individual's personal development. I've personally never experienced homelessness. However, it's very serious and it is something that I dread seeing when I do see it. And I just think it's because we don't open up our hearts, we don't ask people questions anymore, and we aren't concerned. And I think education and a good job is so important to a basic, healthy, and happy life. I feel that education emergency would allow those individuals to freely give themselves some grace and get themselves some help. So the justification for this program is just to simply assist the homeless. I am provide them with classes to further their education, or just provide them simply with some refresher courses on jobs, training, certifications. If there's a specific field they were in prior and they just want a little help on that, that's what we're here for. By the end of this program, for the first year of this program, Education Emergency would like to have assisted more than 25 individuals. This means getting them secured with stable work and or getting them that degree or that diploma or that certification upon the ending of the program. If there are any other questions or any other feedback or reviews that Education Emergency can get, or if there are any stakeholders or investors that are interested, please visit our website for more information. Education Emergency thanks you for watching, listening, and learning on how important it is to give everybody an equal and fair chance to end homelessness. Thank you.